Hello and welcome back to Bookish Brits. My name is Michelle, and for this video I would like to admit that I do not know how to review non-fiction books. In an earlier video I had said that reading non-fiction books is sort of out of my comfort zone and that I don't read that many non-fiction books, but this year somehow I've managed to read 3 non-fiction books. How did that happen? And the thing with reading non-fiction books, especially because all 3 of these books were sent for review from the publisher, is I don't know how to review non-fiction books. I really don't. I think I find it very difficult. Together with short story collections, I don't really know how to review short story collections in the same way I don't really know how to review non-fiction books. With all 3 of these books, there are certain sections that, yeah, obviously all of the chapters in the book relate back to a certain subject, but I felt like everything that was discussed were separate issues that needed to be talked about. And how do you do that? How do you review each chapter of a book? And I didn't know how to do that, so I thought today I would just mini review these 3 YA non-fiction books. Now the first book that I read is This Book is Gay by James Dawson. And this is a sex education guide to help out LGBT teenagers and also the adults and carers and teachers who would need this information to help the LGBT people in their lives. So what I really love about it is that this book is directly aimed at LGBT teenagers, but its reach is far wider than that. And I think that anyone can and should read this book just to gain a greater sense of understanding and compassion. Now this book was really, really great. It has illustrations from Spike Jarrell throughout, and I think that James Dawson writes this book in such a fun and funny but also honest way. He kind of starts off from the beginning about when you figure out yourself that you're attracted to the same sex, or if you know in your heart that you are transgender, that sort of thing. How do you go about it? It talks about labels and stereotypes. It talks about coming out. It talks about the actual mechanics of sex. It talks about love and dating, where to find other LGBT people in your community. And it is filled with these really wonderful illustrations. It's filled with James Dawson's own personal anecdotes, as well as other case studies from different LGBT people who have written in discussing their own experiences. I thought this was an amazing and important book, and I feel like it should be definitely part of every secondary school curriculum. The next nonfiction book that I picked up is called True Face by Siobhan Curham, and this is talking about identity and showing the world your true face, both in terms of fashion and friends, but also social media, bullying, and all sorts of different subjects. What I love about this book is that it's filled with really great activities and different questions that Siobhan Curham has asked the reader to fill out as they go along, to say, you know, who are you now? Who were you? Remember a time when things were wonderful and you didn't worry so much about what other people thought of you, and become that person again. And she says these things, but then she backs them up with her own personal advice, drawing on her own experiences. It gives these really wonderful activities and questions, and it talks about all sorts: friendship, dating, love, fashion, friendship. It can be slightly cheesy at parts, but I was reading this book and it just seemed to fill me with a sense of self-confidence in a way that surprised me quite a lot, that I didn't expect that in my 30s I would still need something like this, and I find that I did. I find that I think whatever stage of life that you're at, you can do with a bit of a boost, and Siobhan Curham was a great person to give anyone a great boost. The third and final nonfiction YA book that I'd like to discuss today is Being a Girl by Hayley Long, and this came with wonderful illustrations by Gemma Coral. And this is a guide to help teen girls and preteen girls with all those confusing things about being a girl. It's a really fun, quite a quick read, in which it talks about all sorts of things, puberty and sex, but also hormones, hair. And she discusses all of these things in this wonderful, approachable way. Like it really felt like I was having a conversation with a really cool aunt or a great friendly older sister who's understanding and compassionate. And I love how this book approached things that I probably was too embarrassed to ask about when I was a pre-teenager, and it talks about these things in a way that didn't feel embarrassing. It just felt really comforting and reassuring. The way that Hayley Long brings up different things and says, you know, lots of us feel this way. You are not alone in these thoughts and in these feelings. It was an amazing guide to help teenage girls and also people who are around teen girls to understand and help as well. That's it from me today. These are my somewhat jumbled thoughts about 3 amazing nonfiction books. Do you read nonfiction books? How do you review them? Let me know in comments, and thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.